Bitcoin is down, but it's our clients. It's actually not a surprise to our clients because Mark Newton, our head of technical strategy, really pointed out the cycles. But that's not a bearish development. It's just a retracement.
If Ethereum price ratio gets to its 8-year average of 0.0479, that implies 12,000 per Ethereum token. If it gets to its 2021 high, which I think is justifiable given how much is happening fundamentally on Ethereum, that's $22,000 per ETH.
This market analysis features Tom Lee, one of the most respected voices in the financial world, sharing his latest prediction for Bitcoin and Ethereum by year's end. Lee breaks down his outlook with detailed charts, drawing parallels between previous Bitcoin cycles and the current one. He explores whether history might repeat itself, highlighting the potential for a massive blow-off top that could define this phase of the market. He also touches on key players like MicroStrategy and Bitmine, offering insights that could be crucial for anyone following crypto's next major move. Let's dive into his latest insights.
We now have a new moment, which is we now have more things becoming synthetic. And so that's why Bitcoin, of course, remains the OG in our view, because you now have a digital store of value. But I think you want to think about the other side of that ledger. What is Wall Street going to do? In our view, Wall Street is going to play a very significant role in creating a market for digital assets. So let's think about what it means for Bitcoin's upside. If gold today is at 4,000 per ounce, and maybe it'll get to 5,000 per ounce, well, we want to think about what Bitcoin to gold ratio is. What percentage of Bitcoin's network value should mirror that of gold. And if it's only at 10%, then you get a $140,000 value for Bitcoin. I think that number is too low. I think it's going to basically match gold's value or even exceed it. And that's how you get to the $1.4 to $2.2 million of value per Bitcoin. So we're still quite bullish on Bitcoin here. So what does this all mean? Well, here's Ethereum's price history since 2018. It made its high in 2021. Okay, and then you could see this huge, massive consolidation over the last 4 years, and we're beginning to break out of this range. I would look at the prior period of consolidation. Ethereum was consolidating from 2018 to 2020, and then the token went from $90 to $4,866, or more than a 50x return. The low for this cycle was $13.85. So where will Ethereum go? I mean, I have some thoughts I'll share. But again, if you look at this chart, it's not bearish. Okay, this is a bullish chart. And another chart to think about is Ethereum's price ratio to Bitcoin. It's currently at 0.036. The average has been 0.047. And the high in 2021 was 0.087. I think that these numbers matter because to me, Ethereum is having its 2025 moment. Like 1971, I think its price ratio should at least recover to its prior high of 0.087. So what does that mean? Well, if Ethereum price ratio gets to its 8-year average of 0.0479, that implies 12,000 per Ethereum token. If it gets to its 2021 high, which I think is justifiable given how much is happening fundamentally on Ethereum, that's $22,000 per ETH. But I don't think that's the ceiling. Sorry, another waypoint is that Ethereum becomes the payment rails of the future, and so its network value matches Bitcoin. Well, that would be $62,000 per ETH token. But let's think about this other story arc that's going to develop, which is Wall Street is going to innovate on the blockchain over the next 10 to 15 years. Okay, and part of the story arc is, we've already seen it, is that we're talking about stable coins, which is tokenized dollars. So that's almost like the 1971 moment. But we're talking about tokenized equities, tokenizing credit, real estate, reputation, and eventually intellectual property. All things that are measured in the economy today. And I think there's going to be invisible measures that get monetized on the blockchain: data collection, royalty payments, loyalty programs, agentic AI, and even important things like proof of human. So a lot will happen on crypto. And we already know Ethereum has experienced this ChatGPT moment because of stablecoins. So let me get to this last point about, if you're interested in ETH, why would you consider owning a digital asset treasury company? But an ETH treasury goal is to increase your Ethereum holding per share, because they can issue stock at a premium, buy more ETH, okay? And the case study to watch is MicroStrategy, which went from $13 to $335 per share. The way MicroStrategy did this was issuing shares to buy more Bitcoin. And in the 5 years since MicroStrategy started the strategy, Bitcoin was at 10x, 11,000 to 108,000. But MicroStrategy stock went up by 25 times, meaning they outperformed Bitcoin by using their treasury strategy. And Bitmine is following the playbook. Today is the second largest holder of Ethereum in the world, raising capital at a pace faster than MicroStrategy. But one of the keys, of course, is Bitmine, and there's a lot of treasury stocks out there, is one of the most liquid names. It is ranked number 26 in the US stock market today, trading $2.6 billion a day. Bitmine trades more per day than Visa and Opendoor, and it trades almost as much as Marvell Technologies or IonQ on a daily basis.
The Bitcoin and Ethereum markets are currently seeing a positive rebound following a recent period of selling pressure. Bitcoin, the dominant digital asset, is showing resilience, with prices climbing back to a key level as investors focus on institutional interest and regulatory clarity, particularly around new exchange-traded products. This signals a cautiously optimistic mood. Ethereum is also moving higher, largely mirroring Bitcoin's strength. Its ecosystem remains robust, fueled by continued development and a general increase in excitement across the broader crypto space. Today's trend suggests that the market is taking a breath of relief after recent declines, but overall sentiment remains a mix of short-term caution and long-term optimism. It's always smart to be cautious and do your research, because we never know the next move. It's often better to stay invested in the market than to miss a major rally. Ever wish you had learned about Bitcoin sooner? Now's your chance to make smarter choices for your kids or young family. This teen's ebook is perfect. Link in the description.